would like to share with you today is that everyone has a story. My story began about when I was 15 years old. My parents worked very hard to stay in survival mode, and so they didn't spend a whole lot of time in the support mode of the child. But I had a great mentor. And that mentor had let me know that I had potential and possibility. And if I dared to dream, and I dared to make that dream come true and willing to work at it, I could do anything that I could dream of if I worked hard at it. So one day, high up in the sky above the road, there was a billboard. And that billboard had beautiful artwork and a great message on it. What that billboard did for me is it intersected a part of my life. It was a stumbling block. It was a moment that changed my life and planted a seed. It created comfortable chaos in the sense that it was overwhelming desire to finally do something. It stirred something in my soul. That desire became an idea, and that idea grew into my life's purpose and direction. And that direction moved forward and helped me with every decision that I made and every choice I made from that point forward. And that was 30 years ago. That desire didn't have a name, and it wasn't called anything until recently. And what it has become is artistic expression. It is artistically communicating to the masses. Very much we've heard the different sides of that just a few minutes ago. But everyone has a story. You may have a story from childhood as a young guy or a young teen, and you can share that story and those antics as entertainment. Or you can have struggled through your journey and learned a great deal about yourself, and now your story becomes enlightenment. Or you've had the great privilege of knowledge, and that knowledge can now be shared with others in the form of education. So you have entertainment, enlightenment, education. What's your story? The world awaits your story. And maybe it's more than just the world, or maybe it's just one person that is working with a very similar journey that you've had and just really needs to hear what it is that you've learned and what you're willing to share. Now, my mentor lived every day to the fullest. She was a phenomenal woman, but she also lived a life very rich in pain and struggle. But she also took everything that she had and wrapped it up in beauty. Now, with that beauty, she created quite a story. But she died recently. And with that, she let her story walk deep inside of me. And I've held on to that story for 2 years, and I made it mine. But as you know, with great knowledge comes great responsibility. At least that's what we learned in Spider-Man. But that knowledge is not ours to keep. We need to share that knowledge. Even if it impacts somebody out there one day, or just for an hour. That knowledge is not for us to keep. We have to share it. And I've met some great people that have. Froggy Andresen collects duck decoys. He's an amazing man that has retired from being an executive for many years, collects these decoys, and he realized it was a dying art. And through that, he collected the stories from the carvers. And I helped him put together an amazing book. It's a 400-page coffee table book. It is now a legacy. It is now part of his history. It is part of many people's history. It is in a museum. It is a legacy. It is history. Stacy Sims, she can't cook. She is funny. She has a son that has diabetes. We worked with Stacy to bring together her story. She couldn't cook, but through entertaining, she shares with us all these great recipes from different chefs around Charlotte. The enlightenment, well, she's a phenomenal woman, and she burns toast just like I do on Sunday morning. She educates us through this book about diabetes. And the beautiful thing that she's done with this expression, this artistic expression, is she has raised $10,000 through the sales of her book and donated to Juvenile Research Diabetes. So, what's your story? And what are you going to do with it? So my power idea has been, and continues to be, to artistically communicate with the masses. I am committing to you today that I am going to write my mentor's story. It is no longer mine to keep, it must be shared. So I'm asking you, how are you going to share your story? How are you going to package it and present it? And as you present it, are you going to do it to where so many other people can benefit from it? If you do it in a book, make it artistic, and then it becomes history. There are many ways to share your story.